Hey there, it is Nathan Agan with The Working Actor's Journey, and we have another special Q&A episode with actor Ben Whitehair. Now, Ben was on the podcast back in Season 1, Episode 11, and so you can hear a lot more about his journey, his story. We cover, everything from his start in Colorado to, his career in Los Angeles. And a quick overview and highlight. Ben is a co-founder of Working.Actor. He's the co-founder of the Social Media Advantage, TSMA, which helps individuals and companies online with their social media. And he is chair of the SAG-AFTRA Next Gen Performers Committee. So I knew when I wanted to talk to somebody who was in the industry, an actor who's, very involved online, really paying attention to what is going on, especially during this year when everything is so changed and gone virtual. I knew Ben would be a perfect person to speak with. And, we cover a lot of great topics. I mean, we talked about how did he respond to the pandemic, in terms of his career, if he took any time off, what he's been focusing on. We talk about what trends he's been seeing this year online, things that might be working for people on different platforms. He's someone like me that always has a lot going on. So, I asked him to share a little bit more about the projects that I just mentioned, what he's doing, and specifically, what the Next Gen Performers Committee and SAG-AFTRA, in general and kind of at large, some of the things they're working on. So this is a great way to not only understand maybe for your career personally what you can do to focus on online or, what you want to study or pay attention to more, but then also what's going on in your union. If you're a member of SAG-AFTRA or you're looking to become a member, just becoming aware of the issues that they talk about and the things that they're working on to benefit you. So it's a great conversation with Ben. I'm always thrilled. He's a very busy person, so I'm always thrilled when he has some time to talk. And it's kind of amazing. It's been a while since he and I have chatted, but he's a great person, great friend, and I'm sure you'll enjoy this. And be sure to stick around because he has a 70-plus page guide that he's giving away for free to really help you figure out all the things that you want to focus on, at the start of your career, or even if you've been doing this for a while. I'm sure there are some great reminders to go back and go, you know what, I could dial this in more. I could get more focused on this. This could, use a brush up. He said, he works with people, even on series, about things they can do with their resume, and headshots and reel and all that kind of stuff. So you're never too old to learn. So again, this was a great Q&A. It was part of our October workshops, the virtual workshops we've been doing. I mean, really the focus there is connecting you with professional actors and directors and teachers that you can learn from, not only learning directly from, but working directly with, especially in this time, there's an opportunity. And so we're thrilled to be able to bring that to you. And I was thrilled that Ben could be part of this. And looking ahead, we're definitely looking to do more workshops. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open. Hopefully in early 2021, the next round will be happening. We got some new stuff there. It'll be really exciting. So without further ado, please enjoy our Q&A with Ben Whitehair. Well, good to see you though. I mean, it's been 3 years actually since I interviewed for the podcast. So
has it been that long?
Yeah, 2017. So
that's crazy.
I know.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah. I know you to just always be doing something. I mean, I think we're very similar in this regard that there's planning a vacation is almost necessary because you would just never take time off because there's always something that you want to do or something you want to explore or a new idea you want to, go after. So I'm curious how you responded to the pandemic with your career. I mean, did you take some time off? Obviously once it was clear there was going to be a pause, how did you kind of address that professionally?
I mean, interestingly, and we were kind of talking about this before, things overall for me almost sped up. Mm-hmm. I'm fortunate that, in the other day jobs that I have, my everything can be done digitally. So everything was really, really ramping up. So that was taking up a bunch of my time. And I had actually, I hadn't been doing as much acting stuff before the pandemic hit. I just been super focused on some of my business things. And interestingly, I'd started doing some voiceovers. Like I do a lot of dubbing for Netflix. And that kept happening. I just ended up doing, I don't have a super fancy studio at my house, but I have enough that it can work. And thankfully super fast internet speed. So I started doing some more voiceover stuff, which was like a nice way to kind of stay creative. And then really by luck, if you will, though we can talk about that as luck for actors, but I had a manager reach out. I didn't have rep in LA when everything started. And I basically had a manager reach out and say, "Hey, I'm interested in meeting you." And I said, "Great. Yeah. Happy to jump on a Zoom as long as you don't make fun of my long hair, that has not been cut during COVID." And we had a great meeting and she's wonderful. And then we started working together and I've actually been getting more auditions during COVID than I'd had the previous year. It's been very weird. I'm grateful. It's not any kind of complaint, and I don't know that that's normal.
And can you track like where that manager came from? Like she had seen something or friend of a friend or something?
I asked because I was very curious. Yeah. She found me because she was searching on IMDb for actors from Denver. She's from Nebraska, I believe. No, Wyoming. And had been looking for, people from her hometown, but it was a small, city and hadn't found anybody. But so, it came through IMDb. I will add, like, I'm a big believer in actors making sure that we're easy to find, easy to get in touch with, and that our online presence is the same for businesses I consult with.
Of course, yeah.
Making that really easy so that those fortuitous things can happen. You know what I mean? Like my contact information is right there on my IMDb page. I mean, there's only so much you can do as an actor on the IMDb page, but like there's quality photos and my demo reels up there. And like, it makes it really easy that if somebody comes across me somewhere online, it's very easy to like see my materials, get in touch and do that. And I just think that continues to be even more important.
Yeah. Good. Okay, cool. And so, you were talking about the dubbing on the Netflix. So maybe not as a direct result of the pandemic, but did you feel like there were things, and maybe because of the manager too, that you started to kind of retarget and refocus on, or did your focus shift, over the last like 6-8 months?
Yeah. I mean, so the voiceover had originally started, a friend had referred me. He was doing some voiceover, actually Asaf Cohen, who I think you know.
Oh yeah, sure. Asaf
had referred me over to some people, and it sort of, I auditioned and worked out, and then they sort of kept calling me back and bringing me back for more projects. And so, voiceover is not something that I've ever focused extensively on. I do small amounts of voiceover work compared to my friends who are like really active in voiceover, who I have, working 18-hour days recording audiobooks and tons of commercials. And so, but it did certainly, I go, this is clearly something that is going to stick around during the pandemic, and more people will need to be, doing things from home. So definitely added some focus on that in terms of getting some better equipment and materials. And, I needed a new one anyway, but I ended up upgrading my computer. The computer I was using just wasn't, it was old and it was not fast enough. So that was definitely a thing. And then even like with the new manager, because I now have a team that's out there really pushing, it sort of kicked me into high gear to like make sure that all my clips were up to date. And I'm adding a couple things to my demo reel. I added a bunch of stuff to my Actors Access. I'm in the middle of redoing my website, which I just haven't really spent a lot of time on in a couple years. And so like, it's definitely amped up my focus on that. And the other piece I would just say is that I think I'm seeing both with myself and my clients and network and friends, it has been easier in a lot of ways for people to get in touch with industry people because everybody's at home. People often have less going on or just even more free time to be like, they're not taking meetings, they're not out at events. And so there's, I think it's been a little bit easier. Actually, basically right after this, I'm moderating a panel with TSMA, our social media company, with April Webster. That is a get that, it would have been nearly impossible to have gotten her to come speak at some event we did.
Right.
But hey, sign on to Zoom for an hour and come in, and we've got, a couple thousand people, and it creates opportunities that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Well, I mean, that's what I've told a lot of people about these workshops is there was a whole idea of like a year ago trying to tell people how easy it would be to use Zoom or Skype or whatever. Like they had zero interest. But then also to get a bunch of, working professionals together at the same time, it has to be the right project. And of course, everybody's working. They're working. They have full schedules. So yeah, that has been nice. And it'll be interesting to see as we progress through this pandemic and come out the other side, how many of these technological shifts are going to stick around that people are going to be more open to things like this.
I think self-tapes, for example, I mean, I've been doing a ton of self-tapes already, just for whatever reasons, and some stuff out of state, and, projects are being made in more locations. But I think, that as an example, I do think I don't think the entire industry will only be doing self-tapes. Right. There is something about being in person, but I think it'll absolutely be here to stay in a way that is demonstrably different than before.
And of course that even more opens up the market of, you can audition for a project somewhere around the world or, whatever. And then of course, like if this stuff carries through that, in terms of filming your own stuff in your own place or whatever you need to do to send in your footage. I mean, like all these things are now where people are now exploring what that is going to be. So maybe you can be part of a film that's filming in, Thailand or whatever that you don't have to travel for, but you still get paid your SAG-AFTRA rate and whatever, like all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting. And I want to talk a little bit about, self-tapes and maybe that's one of the trends, but, especially because things are so different right now. If you're seeing any particular trends on social media, or if you see things that are working for people on different platforms, if that's been something that's been you've seen shifting, because of course there's kind of the public perception of being on some of these platforms of Facebook and what can you trust and what can you do, and they're always changing their algorithms and all this kind of stuff. I'm curious if what you've found has really been working for people either in specific platforms and trends and things like that.
So in terms of trends, I would say two pieces. One is that there are certain things that I would almost consider like core values of content and social media and otherwise that always work. Mm-hmm. Same as an actor, good acting always does well, right. Connected, listening, clear, that always makes a difference on social media, authentic, communication. When we teach with TSMA, Ryan Walker, business partner over there, he says all the time, and I do as well, the brand quality and consistency. When you're posting quality content within your brand consistently over time, like that is the foundation of building any kind of presence. So that as a foundation always works. Yeah. In terms of trends, it's interesting because social media use is up. We continue to see Instagram do really, really well. That's where I spend almost all of my time on social media, which is different than where I was before. Mm-hmm. There are different demographics if you're hitting a particularly younger demographic. I mean, TikTok obviously has a huge user base. Sure. I don't quite see it having the same impact if they don't really do some pivots on the platform, just because short form video content as sort of the exclusive way to share, I think is just harder to access on a fully broad base, where like Instagram, you have pictures, short form video, long form video, right, you can do audio, you've got the captions, you've got the stories, like it just sort of is very built, I think, for creators, for us as a creative community, there's just more there. But use is up, although engagement is sort of down across the platform and people are increasingly consuming, but not even necessarily engaging with content as much. And looking for ways as a creator to increase that engagement. I also think with the more people you get in a way, the higher the bar is for quality content, and it's easier and easier to create quality content from your home with your phone. And so people are looking for quality content. And so I think, increasing our quality of what we're putting out there does really well. And then like with TSMA, we have a giveaway model where when we help people grow their following on Instagram, for example, doing giveaways and community-based engagement, I think is increasingly a thing, particularly as the platforms shut down some of the like technological hacks that you could do. Right. People were doing like follow and stuff like that for a long time that just the platform doesn't let you do anymore.
And it sounds like, at least through your personal use, the idea that just focusing on one platform and maybe not spending as much time on Facebook or Twitter. Obviously there doesn't seem to be the idea that you have to be everywhere isn't necessarily true.
I would agree with that. I would say my advice would be you have to have a profile everywhere.
Okay.
Like get your name,
right.
Put a nice photo of you, have a bio, and then have it linked to your website. Let's say you never use Twitter, for example.
Right.
You could have one tweet that you pin to your profile
sure.
at the top that says, "Hey, I'm super active on Instagram. Catch me over there," and then put the link.
Yep.
Because there are people who you might be interested in who are using that platform, and I want them to be able to find me, tag me, engage, whatever.
Right. Right.
So I say like have your profiles everywhere.
Yeah.
But like I'm personally, when I started doing social media, I was spending 90% of my time on Twitter, maybe 80% and 20% Facebook. And now it's probably 90 to 95+% on Instagram. I still think Facebook is good for personal networking, and like digital networking and the community of people that I know. And I do force myself to, remember like, oh yeah, post something on Facebook. I haven't,
right.
Like as I'm speaking, like I'm going to be in New Mexico filming this other scene for this Blumhouse movie that I'm doing next week. And it's like, oh yeah, I should probably go post that on,
right.
Whatever I can. I should find a way to go post over there because my network is there.
Right.
But in terms of digital marketing and like building an audience, that's where I find Instagram just continues to be the best spot. But yeah, to your direct question, I don't think like pick the profile that you love, pick the platform that you love and spend your time there.
That's a great idea. Yeah, great
and the
advice.
other way to do it is just looking at where are the people who you want to be interacting with.
Right, of course.
And where are they and spending time there. If you're in news, Twitter's going to be a really good spot for you.
Sure.
If you're a comedy writer, Twitter might also be a really good spot for you. If you're doing a lot of, I don't know, if you're doing business to business sales stuff, like there's a lot of, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I think it's underutilized, but it's like, who are you targeting? Who you actually, want to be getting in front of?
Right. No, that's a great idea. Cause I think, and I fall in the camp of feeling overwhelmed or like, well, geez, how do I do this? And actually probably with Facebook, I'm using it more for the groups function. There's just different things that I'm involved in. And I find that is a really great way to interact with people. I don't find things get buried or I can easily search for things. Whereas if you have a page, it's just like, is anyone seeing this? How can I, and without spending, a lot money, trying to get this stuff out, which is what they want. They want you to spend money to, keep their business going. But yeah, that's okay. So no, that is great advice. Cause I think even, like I said, for me, it can get overwhelming pretty quickly. As we've talked about, you have a lot going on, and you mentioned TSMA, and you guys do social media consulting and account management and all that kind of stuff. And you also have another project, Working.Actor. And so I was just hoping, because that might be new for people, and just I've seen a bit about what you guys are hoping to do with that. And I was just hoping you could share a little bit more about that project. Cause I think it is a very unique offering for people that are either new to the industry, new to LA, the business of acting as we've talked about.
When I came to LA over a decade ago now, I felt like I knew nothing. I was like, I know I want to be an actor.
Right.
And that's it. Like I have a lot of skills, but like, what do I do?
Right.
And so I had started a blog when I first moved to LA that Playbills versus Paying Bills with a buddy in Chicago and a buddy in New York. And, we were posting about what does it mean to be an actor in these cities? What are you actually doing? What are you seeing? How do you approach this? And that's sort of what started my journey. I'm one of those weirdos who really likes business and, marketing and, all those other sides of things. And ultimately realized like, oh, at the end of the day, it's a business. And I had started a company in college and realized like being an entrepreneur, all of the skills and everything I'm reading about starting a company and everything I'm learning about growing a traditional company is the exact same thing that applies to growing your business as an actor. You're an entrepreneur. Actors are entrepreneurs, period.
Right.
If you want to make money. If you don't want to make money, totally fine. Zero judgment. We need more artists. Absolutely. But if you want to make money, it's a business. And I just continually found that there was not a good, comprehensive place that have everything you need to understand about like the business of acting. How do you make sure that you have quality, headshot, resume, demo reel? How do I go find an agent? Where do I find work? What should I have in my car? What are the other resources out there? What are the podcasts I should be listening to? Oh, this guy has this amazing Shakespeare podcast. How cool. If I'm wanting to get involved with that, but there's no way to sort of know that. And there's no one place you can go to. And so our goal, myself and Gadali, who co-founded Working.Actor with me, were like, what we really want is to take all of these resources that we've compiled, the knowledge, all of it, and have it in one place. And so that's what we did. So, and we were like, and we wanted to be able to get to a lot of people.
Right.
I was doing business coaching for actors for years and still have some private clients here or there. But I was like, I want to be reaching more people, and it's kind of expensive to like get an hour of my time.
Sure.
I'm busy enough, and I'm fortunate enough to have been doing it long enough. Like it's kind of expensive. And I was like, that's great for people who can afford it, but that's only so many people. And I want there to be more artists out there. So how can we find a super affordable way to get this to, as many people as possible?
Right. That's great. And yeah, for people listening, a lot of times when you think of domain names, it'll be like, oh, something.com. Well, this is like, if you literally go and just type in working.actor and hit enter, you'll get it.
Yep.
You guys are on the cusp of the technology there with the working.actor.
I know we've got they call it a TLD, the top level domain.
Yes.
And we just didn't find any .coms or and we looked at everything. And we're like, there just wasn't something that we felt like really resonated. And we're like, well, it's what we really want to do is help people be a working actor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Working.actor. That's it. That's the site.
As someone who created the Working Actor's Journey podcast, yes. I mean, talking to actors, like that phrase comes up over and over. And that's what people want, which is interesting because you think of like, oh, well, maybe it's tied to like celebrity or money or like big show or, Oscar or awards or whatever. And it's like, no, people just want to work. They want to make a living at being an actor. And it's like, that's a great goal. And very achievable.
I love actors. I love the creative community. And I think in the society at large, what people often see are like movie premieres and red carpets and celebrities who, make $1 bajillion.
Right.
And as anybody listening to this knows, like that is not the core of the industry. And even celebrities say, my favorite thing is that when I drive on set, like in the parking lot, you've got everything from, fancy cars to pickup trucks. It's working class. Like when I grew up on a ranch, I was a cowboy. I did construction, and you have like the blue collar workers who are just, doing heavy manual labor to, the amazing people creating magic with hair and makeup and transforming how somebody looks, even with a high resolution camera on your face.
Right.
Like it is, it's such a wonderful coming together of all these different pieces. And I think, it's a very like working class community. People want to work. People want to go do good work that makes a difference, that helps people, that brightens their day, that informs them, that tells a good story. And I love being a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's great. As you mentioned, you have other Zoom commitments coming up. So I just wanted to ask a couple more quick questions.
Yeah, please.
I know you're still involved, with SAG-AFTRA in terms of union stuff, and you're still on the Next Gen Performers Committee. What are you guys working on right now, or what do you want actors to know about what's going on in case they're just totally oblivious to union goings on, or specifically that committee?
Well, a couple things. I mean, look, the industry has been hit so hard by the pandemic, and SAG-AFTRA is no exception. So it's been really challenging as an organization that plays such a critical role. And I think the thing that I have learned the more I've gotten involved, and then what I really want people to understand is like SAG-AFTRA is doing so much for the community. A lot of it we just don't see. And part of my goal is to have people see and understand more of what's going on, from the way that our contracts are negotiated to being protected on set. And like it shows up the most when I hear these horror stories about people, or like non-union sets right now where people are getting sick. I mean, people could die. It's literally life and death. And I know, because I've seen it, like SAG-AFTRA has been talking to the top scientists in the world about how could you actually bring dozens of people together safely in a scenario, which is kind of crazy. The fact that anybody is on set at all, when, especially in America where so many people are dying, like that's crazy. And it's because of the hard work that staff is doing. And the elected leaders who are doing their best as well to support. So, I mean, look, there's a lot that's happening. It has certainly been a challenging time for the union. If you are a union member, please, if you at all have the ability to do so, pay your dues. It helps make sure that these things are going on. And it's hard. It's like, well, what am I getting? I'm not working right now. It's like, this is what will allow us to get more work going. The more that SAG-AFTRA can be making sure that people are protected, the contracts are getting processed. We just had the millionth direct deposit residual go out. Like it just, a bunch just came to my bank account. I'm like getting money that is allowing me to survive because we have staff working on that. So we've been doing that. Next Gen Performers, members of our committee have done some of the PTEOE. The President's Task Force on Education has been doing some video class seminar type things that you can find on the SAG-AFTRA YouTube channel. So I did one on social media, and then Ryan Walker, my business partner at TSMA, did a part 2 of that social media class. And then we did a part 3 panel with some amazing people who talked about how they're navigating social media and around social and social justice issues. Highly recommend checking that out. Some other members who are on the Next Gen Performers Committee did one about like creating your own content and other pieces. So there's a lot of resources that we're doing our best to still be sending out to people, even with more limited resources.
And I mean, it is really cool to just, see what SAG is doing on, behind the scenes, and then, to really help actors with the career, facilitating them learning more, understanding more, connecting them more. It is really great to see how much they are doing. And, as we've been talking about, it's just such an interesting time. Part of the stuff I've been seeing, especially lately, the discussions between SAG-AFTRA and Actors Equity when it comes to filmed performances. Because, that's one of those things that because theaters aren't in operation, it's become this big discussion. And I kind of as a producer, but also as an actor, I can see both sides. I can see where SAG-AFTRA, has their perspective, and Actors Equity has their perspective. And a lot of it relates to not just actors, but other people who are affected, by loss of jobs and work and all this kind of, and everybody's just trying to get back to work. It's like, well, how do we just do that? And it's very new ground, because I don't even think SAG-AFTRA existed during the first Spanish flu, over 100 years ago. I think it came in just after. Right. The late 20s or early 30s or something like that.
I think 27.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
27. I'd have to double check my history. Don't quote me on that.
But so this is like totally new of just like, what do we do? Because theaters, they want to get back out, and it's like, well, okay, you have actors on screen, but it's at a theater. So it's just so many new questions that we haven't prepared for.
Yeah. And it is, I will say, everybody shares the goal of getting people back to work.
Right.
And, the other thing is that a lot of these issues are nuanced in ways that are not always immediately apparent. And, the more that I get involved, I have a background in like politics. I interned for Congress when I was younger and have been involved in that side of things as well. And what we learn about so many of these issues is something that seems obvious, actually isn't, or has huge ramifications where like, this makes sense. Or for me, I was like with, why am I getting mailed these, tiny residual checks? Like that cost, the stamp is more expensive. This is stupid. They should hold on to it. It's a federal law. It's actually illegal for them to hold on to the money, because then you basically become a bank, and there's like, anyway, it's this whole thing. I was
sure.
Oh, got it. Something that seems like perfect would just make sense. And figuring out like, how do we make sure that our community is protected, and that we're protected not only during this pandemic and that as many people can work as possible, but that, after the pandemic as well, that,
right.
The maximum number of people are protected. And at the end of the day, I could not be more staunchly pro-union, and the statistics bear it out, and for whatever reason in our country over the last few decades, I think unions have, in many ways gotten a bad rap. But when you look at the data, everybody, union members and non-union members, make like 20% more in industries that have a union. If there's a union present, everybody makes more money. The workers are protected. More people get health insurance. More people get more money. More people have safer, better working conditions. Like, it is so helpful. And I think when we look at the huge challenges that the working class of America is facing, I think unions are a critical part of that. And anybody should be wary of anybody saying that the union is harming that industry, and just looking at like what their motivations are. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying everything a union does or says is perfect. Being involved, I know that that's not true, but by and large, like it is a way for people to protect ourselves, and as like performers, to make sure that we get paid for the work that we do. It's so easy for creatives to get taken advantage of, or be like, oh, well, what you're doing doesn't really matter. And we love it. So we're often willing to do it for free, right? It's like, we want to be working. It's like, sure, whatever. I just want to be on set. And so like, how can we make sure that our industry as a whole is protecting us and making sure that we're getting paid? Actors work so hard, and I want to make sure that people can get paid and be safe when they show up on set.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'll let you go in just a couple minutes, but for those on the call, if you have any more last minute burning questions that you want to ask Ben, if not, that's totally cool. But I'll just give you a chance to do that now. And anything you want to let us know that you're doing right now, or that is coming up that you want us to know about, that you want us to check out. I mean, we mentioned working.actor, TSMA. People can find your social media company there. Anything else?
Yeah, working.actor, would love for anybody to check it out. Like you said, just type in working.actor and you can go and see what we're up to over there. TSMAconsulting.com or TSMAgrowth.com are two different services if people are looking for social media help and support. I'm grateful. I mentioned earlier I'm going to be on set next week, actually the day before my birthday, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be a Blumhouse film coming out at some point. Distribution and all that stuff is challenging. I'm grateful that I get to go back to set. It's never certain when things like this happen. So very grateful for that. And I'm holding myself accountable. One of the reasons I was excited to do this chat here with you is that I'm in process of redoing my own website, and want to be putting up some of the podcasts and other stuff that I've done. I did one recently where I was talking about people who've lost a family member, Dying of Laughter podcast that my friend Chelsea does, and some other really cool things that I just am excited to continue to share resources with people. So and if anybody wants to get in touch with me, at Ben Whitehair on all the social platforms, I'm easy to get in touch with.
If you don't see anything he's posting there, you will at least find a link to the platform where he is posting.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. You can find out where you can actually get in touch with me.
Awesome. Cool. And with working.actor, is there something that people might be able to check out to just get their feet wet and begin to understand what it is out there that they might want to know more about? Obviously there's a lot of different areas of the business you can focus on, but is there something that can just help them get started down that road so that they're not entirely, completely overwhelmed right at the beginning?
I have a free ebook, and it's a 73-page ebook that's like the very starting point. Like if you're like, it's headshot, resume, demo reel, I think a little bit on social media, some stuff on goal setting, but like what I would consider the very, very starting point of like, and the truth is like I'm coaching some series regular people, and I start with that with them as well. I'm redoing their resume, we're redoing their demo reel. Like it's the foundation of what you must have as a performer. And like all that information is in the ebook.
Okay. So people can go to working.actor/ebook to get a free.
But yeah, working.actor/ebook.
Okay. Awesome. Cool.
Beautiful. I will talk to you very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thanks, Ben. You too, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, Nathan here one more time. Hope you enjoyed that Q&A with Ben. Again, I think he just has always so much great information to share, not only from a career perspective, but from an industry perspective. And don't forget, working.actor/ebook. You can pick up his free guide of over 70 pages full of information of what you want to know as an actor, things to look out for. I mean, believe me, Ben has done all the things you want to be focusing on as an actor, all the things that are in your control, because there are so many things outside of your control in this industry, but all the things that you can control in terms of your image, your work, what you're putting out there. I know Ben has thought through this stuff over, 10 plus years. So absolutely do yourself the benefit of checking this guide out. And don't forget to check out his other websites, tsmaconsulting.com, tsmagrowth.com, if you're in the market to really advance your social media. And you can find him at benwhitehair.com. One more quick reminder, we're doing these virtual workshops in early 2021, should be the next round, connecting you with professionals to advance your career. Not just learning from professionals, but really working with and alongside them. We have some great additions, directors, dramaturgs, voice teachers, text coaches, really wonderful people that you just might not have had the opportunity to work with otherwise, and we want to give you that opportunity. So keep an eye out for that. Hope you're doing well, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the year, and all the best. I'm Nathan Egan, and enjoy the journey.